Welcome to Advocation X, episode number 61. Time for a newsworthy world event broadcast. Sponsored by Baden Optical in beautiful Ontario, Canada. Now hit that like button and subscribe to push our content higher in the YouTube algorithm so more people get to enjoy our content. Topics to tackle here and now. North Korea. How? Deity? Demon? After Kim Jong-un, his little sister. The nuclear programs. Pictures of Kim Jong-un. Rising from the dead? Lamestream media. Let's dive in deep right now. How could Kim Jong-un have died? Speculation runs rampant throughout the world media, talking about speculations of heart attacks and all kinds of other things, even to go as far as to say perhaps he caught the super bad cold illness while being treated for a heart condition, and that took his life. Well, let's just say that based on North Korean doctrine, the leaders of that country should never die. Definitely not from any kind of outside illness. So, how could he die? He is supposed to be looked on as a deity. He is like the god, the one that brings them life, the one who chooses to take their life if it serves his purpose. So, if he is a god or some type of deity, then obviously he couldn't have died. And his grandfather and father are resting somewhere, having a wonderful life in an area of North Korea set aside for these gods. So, if he is dead, could there by chance be another god called God Slayer? Maybe there's a god who comes down and slays other gods because they've run out their time or something. Well, we need to figure this out, guys. Submit your information. Help me understand. Is this guy a god? Is he a deity? Or is he a demon? What's your thoughts? Many people would be on the side of saying he's an absolute demon. He's murdered his own family members. He's murdered members of his military, members of his Politburo, or whatever you want to call it, his political arrangement of people. I mean, I just can't think of the words to describe what happens there in North Korea that would be accurate. If you can help me with that, please do. Whatever their political situation is called and how it's organized would be of help. What would North Korea be like if this deity god actually had passed away unexpectedly? Would the people's lives improve, or would it fall into disarray? Would they still be able to get their rations and the food that they need to survive? Or would everything fall apart into chaos? Would everybody run to the different corners of the country and just pillage and take whatever they wished? Would they come into those beautiful cities that are used to show us how gorgeous North Korea is? Would they come in and just start pulling these places apart or occupying them in whichever way they see fit? I'd be curious to see, would the country progress? Would they become a partner in the rest of the world endeavors? Or would they continue to try to stay separate without that dictatorial leader on top? Now, if Kim Jong-un has died, there's much speculation that his little sister would be the successor. She would be the one to rule in his wake. They went to school together abroad. Well, not together, but in the in the same vicinity together. And she apparently was quite a promising young lady. But in North Korea, we know that the culture is such that it would be very difficult for these 60, 70-year-old generals and other debutantes to take orders from a woman. So how would they work that? How would she be able to circumvent this type of issue and actually be an effective ruler in his wake? There are many times I'm sure she's been approached with the question of whether or not she would be the successor. And I'm sure it would have probably have been a crime for her to even talk about it. So we don't know her stance on this, I'm sure. If anybody has an opportunity to provide a link to any interviews that she may have done that could shed light on whether or not she would even consider moving in to rule this North Korean nation, especially under the circumstances that have been created for North Korea across the world. So she would have to overcome some really heavy obstacles in order to take the reins. But is it possible? I think it's possible. Tell me what you think. Give me some information that I can go on. Help educate me as to which way this could or will go. So, what about their nuclear direction? What would a post-Kim Jong-un North Korea be like nuclear-wise? Would they become even deeper, secretively accelerating their program? Or would they abandon it, and again, in exchange for the lifting of all sanctions which would allow their country to prosper and flourish? Would they prefer to be like South Korea, or do they just want to swallow South Korea so they have more land and space to be able to generate more wealth for the ruling class? So, a very good question. What would happen to their nuclear program? Which way would it go? Help me out with that. Now, here's a question. Could there have been a secret deal made between China and North Korea? Could there have been some sort of plot that was unleashed between the two countries? We know China is not very comfortable with any nuclear threats on their borders, but they can't stop North Korea. What scheme has been unleashed from these two? China knew that North Korea was developing nuclear weapons all this time. Obviously, they knew. They go back and forth all the time. They know what's going on right on their border. Did they allow this to happen? It seems that maybe China and North Korea are a little closer than they appear for the most part. Here's something that has puzzled me over the months that I've been looking at Kim Jong-un. When I look at all the articles and all the pictures that are posted all over the place, and I mean that's here or anywhere, of Kim Jong-un, I would say that 65 to 70% of his pictures and appearances, he's always smiling. He's either an extremely happy man, or he's got something going on behind that smile that is devastating. I'm curious to know what the numbers are in North Korea as far as this super bad cold illness virus spread. It would be a very interesting statistic to know, based on the fact that they are neighbors, based on the fact that their relationship seems to be more than it is on the face, and that it goes back very far. Have they been protected from this outbreak? Why are all of his pictures, most of his pictures, having such magnanimous personality. He's hugging children, kissing children, surrounded by women and men and people of all sorts that seem to be really adoring. So it would be interesting to look into why. Who's taking these pictures? Give us some of your insight as to what went on when these pictures were taken. Is he a genuinely happy individual? I would think that living in his position would be quite stressful. Wondering who would try to assassinate you next after you assassinated their boss or, you know, their family member, or so many things. So, this brings me to this part. Kim Jong-un emerges alive and well. South Korea vouches for the fact that this guy has been quite healthy. I don't know what everybody's making a fuss about. He's totally fine. What a spectacular re-entrance onto the world stage. Was it predictable? Yes, it was predictable. Do you know why it was predictable? Brings me to my last topic. The lamestream media. They constantly get it wrong. Do they ever get it right? They constantly say things about North Korea and the leaders of North Korea and the leaders of China and the way China is and the way China will be and what China will do and what this one will do. And all of it seems to constantly be proven wrong. What is the agenda there? I'm curious. If you have any insight, please offer it up. Give me something to go on. I cannot understand why they're never right. They, up and down, Kim Jong-un has passed on. He's dead. He's not coming back. Oh my gosh. And then he comes back and says, well, what was all the fuss? I'm fine. Everything's good. Okay, let's get on with world. Wow. You media outlets run by a few oligarchs, you need to get your own voice. You need to actually get real reporters out in the field and get some real accurate information. You need to stop publishing garbage that gets proven wrong over and over and over again. And again, I'm not going to bash you right to the limit, because there are times that you report some news that really is important for us to know and really seemingly is the truth. And it's just all those other times. You're losing your credibility one story at a time. It's time for you to change that and make things work. So, please help us further our cause by hitting the like button and subscribing for future content. Become a member and crush that bell while you're at it so you miss nothing. Disclaimer, our channel is opinion. It's based on facts and not the alternative fact type either. Questions will be answered if you're a subscribed member of this channel. However, suggestions are welcome, including your critical analysis. Leave your respectful comments in the comment section. A special thanks from Clyde and the crew to all of you beautiful thinking people out there. And shout out to our sponsor, Baden Optical in beautiful Ontario, Canada. Once again, good folks, I must say, we never give up and we never give in. And remember, keep an open mind, because knowledge is power. So do your research. Be powerful. Until next time, thank you for spending time with us here on this channel. Please stay safe and healthy while doing your best to remain as happy as humanly possible.